Imagine watching an aircraft take off. No fuel tanks, no combustion, no emissions, just silent propulsion powered by invisible waves. Science fiction? Not according to Zimbabwean inventor Maxwell Chikumbutso. In a world racing toward electric aviation, he claims to have done something far more radical. Flying a plane powered by radio frequencies, alone, without fuel. But did this really happen? And if it did, why isn't the world talking about it? Stay with me, because what you're about to hear challenges everything we thought we knew about energy, aviation, and the limits of physics. Maxwell Chikumbutso isn't your typical engineer. Born in Zimbabwe, with no formal university training, he founded a tech company called Zimbabwean Inventions, later known as SAITH Technologies. Over the years, he's associated with astonishing inventions. Despite skepticism and lack of institutional support, Chikumbutso gained attention from local media, private investors, and even foreign observers. Whether you see him as a visionary or a mystery, he refused to stay small. Around 2015 to 2017, footage and reports surfaced of Chikumbutso unveiling a prototype aircraft powered, he said, by RF energy conversion. According to him, the system could extract power from radio frequencies in the environment, convert that energy, and drive propulsion without burning fuel. This wasn't a glider or tethered demo. He claimed it flew independently, under its own power. No fuel, no external charging. In theory, RF waves carry energy, and they can be harvested, just like solar or kinetic energy. But powering an aircraft requires massive, continuous power output. For a plane of any size, the energy demands are enormous, far beyond what standard RF harvesting tech can provide right now. Yet, some researchers in the US, China, and Europe are exploring RF-powered drones and wireless charging for small UAVs. So the question becomes, did Chikumbutso leap ahead or leap into myth? Local journalists, politicians, and a small group of private observers reportedly attended demonstrations. Some claimed they saw a successful flight attempt, but no major international media covered it, and no aviation authority confirmed it. After the RF aircraft buzz, his project seemed to go quiet. Whispers suggest relocation, partnerships in the U.S., and investor interest behind the scenes. Some claim his technologies were tested by powerful institutions, but no official announcements ever followed. Meanwhile, the global aviation world is still struggling to make battery electric or hydrogen planes practical. If Chikumbutso's invention worked, it would leapfrog all existing industries and disrupt trillions of dollars in fuel economics. We don't have enough publicly verifiable evidence to prove that the RF-powered aircraft flew as claimed. At the same time, we don't have enough proof to dismiss it entirely. We're left with three possibilities. It worked, and it's being suppressed or privatized. It partially worked, but remains undeveloped. It didn't work as claimed, but inspired a future path. One thing is undeniable. The idea of aircraft fly without fuel is no longer science fiction. If not Chikumbutso, someone else will do it. Energy is changing, and aviation may be next. While most of the world moved on, the whispers around Chikumbutso never truly faded. In quiet engineering circles and on encrypted tech forums, references to RF propulsion and Zimbabwe's mystery inventor still appear. Some insiders claim fragments of his designs resurfaced in private aerospace labs in South Africa, Brazil, and even California. Others insist that NDAs and sealed patents are keeping the technology locked away, not because it failed, but because it worked too well. After all, what industry, aviation, oil, or defense, would welcome a propulsion system that eliminates fuel entirely? And yet, nothing stays buried forever. History has a pattern. Radical innovations start as rumors, become ridicule, and eventually reemerge as discovered by someone else. Let's think strategically. If a functioning RF propulsion system truly existed and was demonstrated, three things would happen almost immediately. Defense agencies would step in. A plane that doesn't need fuel is a strategic military asset. Energy monopolies would panic. You don't just lose money on jet fuel, you lose political control. The tech would vanish from public view. Not destroyed, not dismissed, just absorbed. Some reports claim Chikumbutso was approached by investors linked to U.S. defense interests. Others say he was pressured to relocate for further development. There are even claims that key parts of his prototypes were shipped quietly out of Zimbabwe. True or not, these rumors only fuel the fascination. Why? Because disappearing inventors are part of a pattern. Tesla, Schauberger, De Palma, Newman, all men whose ideas challenged energy empires. If you're ready, I can continue even further into conspiracy theories versus logical explanations, comparison with EM drive, wireless power, and DARPA projects, what RF aviation would mean for airlines and the military, speculation on where Chikumbutso is today. Not long after Chikumbutso's claim surfaced, global defense and aerospace agencies started quietly funding research into wireless power transfer, RF harvesting, and propellantless propulsion. Coincidence or reaction? NASA revisited experimental concepts like the M drive, another technology once dismissed as impossible. Chinese military journals started featuring articles on RF-assisted propulsion and non-combustion flight. Lockheed Martin and Boeing filed new patents related to wireless energy systems for aircraft. None of these agencies publicly mentioned Chikumbutso, but the timing is hard to ignore. If one independent inventor in Zimbabwe was experimenting with radical propulsion, the big players would notice, whether they admit it or not. History offers a blueprint for what might have happened. When a breakthrough threatens multiple trillion-dollar industries at once, energy, military, transportation, it rarely reaches the public in its original form. Instead, it follows one of three paths. Many believe Chikumbutso's RF plane may now exist only as data in someone else's lab. If true, it wouldn't be the first time an inventor disappears while the invention lives on in the shadows. He relocated to the United States under a private tech partnership. His company, SAITH Technologies, shifted operations off-record. Parts of his prototypes were acquired by foreign investors. He was offered protection or pressured into silence. Here's a possibility most people haven't considered. Even if Maxwell Chikumbutso really created a working RF-powered aircraft, he may not be the one to introduce it to the world. Why? Because once a breakthrough is absorbed into private labs or defense contracts, it gets rebranded. The origin becomes irrelevant. The credit goes to whoever holds the patent, not whoever sparked the idea. So the first time we hear about a zero-fuel reconnaissance drone or long-endurance wireless-powered aircraft, it might come from a U.S. military contractor, a Chinese aerospace startup with state backing, an EU research consortium, a tech firm tied to classified energy programs. And when it does appear, it will be marketed as a new discovery, not a Zimbabwean innovation from a self-taught engineer. Mainstream critics argue that harvesting RF energy to power a plane violates known physics. They point to energy density, conversion limits, and propulsion demands. But let's remember, many world-changing technologies were once labeled impossible. Radio, mocked before Marconi proved it. Electric cars, dismissed as weak toys in the 1990s. Drones, once seen as military fantasies. Wireless charging, considered useless beyond a few inches. Flight itself, if man were meant to fly. And even today, NASA, DARPA, and China's CASIC are actively researching microwave-powered drones, RF field energy harvesting, electromagnetic propulsion, non-combustion aerospace drives. So the question isn't, is it impossible? Africa has no shortage of innovators, only a shortage of visibility and protection. When inventions emerge in the West, they're fast-tracked through investors, labs, patents, and media engines. But when they come from underfunded labs or independent creators in places like Zimbabwe or Kenya, three things often happen. Maxwell's story mirrors other shadowed African inventors, those who built mini power plants, water engines, or biofuel jets only to vanish under pressure, offers, or silence. What happens if Chikumbutso reappears with new evidence? Could a leak or whistleblower reveal the tech first? Is Africa about to reclaim hidden breakthroughs? What this means to the future of aviation and energy? Just say continue, and I'll keep the story alive. Let's imagine Maxwell Chikumbutso, or someone connected to his work, finally brings undeniable proof to the public. What happens next? The technology resurfaces through a major corporation, or government agency. It's marketed as a new advancement in wireless aviation, with no mention of its origins. The world celebrates the tech, but not the inventor. Footage, schematics, or test results escape into the public domain. Independent experts analyze it. The story explodes online, forcing mainstream media and regulators to react. Chikumbutso, or someone from his original circle, reappears with updated prototypes, new footage, or partnerships. This time, the audience is global, not local. The world listens because the energy crisis, fuel costs, and climate urgency have changed the stakes. Any of these outcomes could rewrite aviation as we know it. When Maxwell first made headlines, the world wasn't ready. Electric planes were still experimental. Green aviation was a talking point, not a necessity. But today, airlines are desperate to cut fuel costs. Governments are searching for post-fossil fuel aviation. Military labs are racing for long-endurance drones. Tech giants are hunting the next energy revolution. A zero-fuel propulsion system, RF-based or otherwise, is no longer science fiction. It's a missing piece the world is now actively looking for. If Chikumbutso's invention was real, its time has finally come. A public test flight with independent observers. Energy input-output data verified by engineers. Patent records or sealed filings resurfacing. Eyewitness confirmations from his original demo team. Collaboration with a neutral university or aerospace lab. And make no mistake, once proof exists, the world won't ask if it's possible. Only who a small, unmanned aerial vehicle capable of long-duration surveillance without refueling would revolutionize intelligence and border control. No fuel depots. No logistics chains. No heat signatures. Think desert bases, naval vessels, or restricted aerospace corridors. If the tech fails, silence hovers it. If it works, the world won't know until years later. A large contractor, maybe Lockheed Martin, Aviation, BAE Systems, or DARPA, reveals a first successful fuel-free endurance aircraft. Any resemblance to Chikumbutso's work? Pure coincidence officially. Aviation without fuel wouldn't just disrupt an industry. It would detonate the global energy order. Here's who gets shaken first. Saudi Arabia, Russia, Nigeria, Kuwait, nations built on petroleum exports, would face existential economic crises. Refineries, logistics firms, tanker fleets, jet fuel vendors, all would scramble to survive or evolve. Imagine fleets of aircraft that don't rely on fuel bases, carriers, or supply lines. Air dominance would shift overnight. Climate agreements could accelerate by force, not choice. Nations stuck in fossil dependence would lose leverage. Now ask yourself, would world powers quietly allow a Zimbabwean inventor to flip that switch unchecked? Here's a twist no one expects. What if the first nation to openly adopt RF-powered aviation isn't the US, China, or Europe, but an African country willing to take the risk? Zimbabwe, South Africa, Kenya, Rwanda, Nigeria, nations eager to leapfrog legacy systems might seize the tech others suppressed. A regional initiative with one breakthrough could trigger a tech alliance, university partnerships, African aerospace startups, new manufacturing economies. RF propulsion, if proven, could make Africa not just a resource exporter, but a global energy disruptor. Whether Maxwell Chikumbutso's RF-powered aircraft truly flew without fuel, or whether his work was silenced, absorbed, or unfinished, one fact remains unshaken. His claim forced the world to imagine a future beyond fuel. Maybe his invention was real and now lives behind classified walls. Maybe it was ahead of its time and waits for rediscovery. Or maybe, just maybe, someone else is about to finish what he started. But here's the truth that history has taught us over and over. Some inventors don't disappear. Their ideas do the flying. And long after the world forgets the man, the technology resurfaces, renamed, rebranded, and repurposed. So when the first public, fuel-free aircraft finally takes the skies, powered not by combustion, but by frequencies and innovation, ask yourself, was this really invented today, or unveiled years ago by someone the world wasn't ready to listen to? Because whether he returns or not, one name will always echo in the origin story. Maxwell Chikumbutso. The auto tech, where innovation meets the road. The future of mobility starts here, only on Autotech. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more fascinating stories about Elon Musk, Maxwell, Tesla, and the future of innovation. Until next time, keep imagining the impossible